and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. And when you listen, stream, or download straight to your device, CastBox is your best option. Remember, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started with Steve, Tino, Gia, and John with the news. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys, good morning and good night. Tino here from the Body Snatchers podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have special guests from Trapped in Anime, David and Joe. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having us. How are you?
Same.
Oh, I'm good, man. It's been a terribly long work week, and the weekend just like shoots by so fast. Aside from that, I've just been living in this Black Panther world that we now have going on. I've been loving like every second of it.
I've seen it twice, back to back. It was amazing. It's great.
Man, so good. Yeah, we did an episode that we released last weekend on it, and it's been going super well, like way better than could have expected.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to see all the good vibes and good energy and all that. What about you, Joe? Did you see it?
Ironically, I have not seen it yet.
Oh, my heart, my soul.
I know Joe was late on a lot of movies.
We just talked about this too earlier today.
Joe hasn't seen Get Out yet, so.
Oh my God.
I'll get around to it. First things first, you got to understand, I'm so busy, I barely have time to do the things that I've actually set a plan that I want to do, let alone the stuff that everybody tells me that I should do / watch. So don't worry, it's on the list. So I just got to get around to it.
When I tell you I understand, like I could cry real tears right now. Like I have everything down to a T. I can barely squeeze in like podcasting, the gym. I'm so busy with work and responsibilities. So I understand. But at the other side of that is like it sucks because with the way the internet is these days and social media, it's like if you're not one of the first people to jump on it, every corner you turn, there's like 1,000 spoilers for everything you wanted to see.
Exactly. And I feel that way too because I like to play a lot of video games, and sometimes like I don't get to it like right when I want to. And so dodging the spoilers, like there have been times where I've tried as hard as I can, but then under certain circumstances for my favorite stuff, it's like, screw it, there it is in front of me. But sometimes I actually work some miracles. I still don't own a Switch. I need one of those.
Dude, I just got mine, so I'm late to the game. But when you do, I don't know if you're an RPG guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I could make a recommendation, like I haven't played Zelda yet. I heard nothing but good things.
Same here.
As far as Xenoblade 2 goes, it was my first game. We actually did a show on it a couple weeks ago, and that's got to be one of the best games I've ever played. If you're like in the Final Fantasy-ish type games, totally up your alley. Because
pretty much for me, before I played Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, I absolutely loved that one. And then I went back and I started playing the first one. Hadn't had a chance to finish it, but I really enjoyed that one. But I didn't really get into RPGs up until that one. So I'm definitely going to check out Xenoblade 2, as well as like a couple other things. I've kind of got a list set down for when I do actually get a Switch.
Yeah, I'm not buying anything else until Pokemon drops or Smash Bros. But mostly that Pokemon. I've been dying for like a Pokemon console game for years because like I legitimately, and as we just said, I don't have time to have a game that you can run around. So my Switch, I treat it so badly. It just sits like right next to my TV. I treat it like a PlayStation.
Do you have Mario Kart?
I don't, and that's not to say that not to say that I don't want it. I just don't have the time to play it. Like again, years.
So message to all the listeners out there: adulthood, just don't do it. Just go ahead and skip that chapter.
Skip that chapter.
Right. press the go back.
There you go. Respawn at your last save point.
So with you guys, just kind of peeping game and seeing what you have going on, you guys have been actually accomplishing quite a bit. I mean, your Facebook is over 51,000, followers and likes. Your Instagram's over 29,000, and you guys are the self-proclaimed SNL of anime. I mean, how did you accomplish that? I mean, because being somebody who's really into the media, and we do some of the same things that you guys do respectively, but podcasting is our bread and butter. How did you guys accomplish that?
Man, the short, it's a long story. We've been doing this for a while, like trying different video series. This one and another one we have called Drunk Night, which is about a guy that gets drunk and thinks he's Batman. Those two are the ones that kind of popped off for us. But in terms of like how we did it, like we had the idea, back when I was still in college a few years ago, of doing like these videos that were kind of like inspired by anime. And originally it was more about like these fight scenes inspired by anime. And Yeah, we had like our first series, which was Drunk Night first, and we, had it on Facebook. And Facebook, we kind of experimented with that accidentally, and it worked well. So then, after a couple months, we tried with Trapped in Anime, and our first video did pretty good, which was when your phone is dropping an anime. And then our second video was making a sandwich in anime, which we all thought really wasn't all that of a video, but then it like got 1 million views. We're like, yo, we got something here. Let's put a lot of effort into this. And we kind of just been going ever since then.
Okay, I saw the Dark Knight video that you guys did, that parody.
Oh, Drunk Night, yeah.
The Drunk Night, dude, that was hilarious. Where he cracks the bottle over the dude's head.
Oh yeah, right on.
Was that after seeing Justice League on that one?
Oh my God, we're not gonna talk about Justice League.
The best word I can use to describe it is fun. I will give it that.
Your guys' videos are better than Justice League.
Right on.
I'm glad you think so.
Oh yeah, they need to fire Zack Snyder and hire you guys.
Oh, hey, let's do it.
I mean, I've been trying, but they won't respond to my emails. So let's keep the movement going, everybody.
You might as well, man. You might as well. I recently shared, we like to share cosplayers, let that be known. Just anybody who does anything in anime, comic books, whatever, we try to share, we try to network. There's one particular cosplayer that I just shared that I didn't really reach out to her. I just kind of saw some pics. I tagged her page and was like, hey, check this out. She's got some really dope stuff. And then ironically, right around Valentine's Day, you guys just came out with a video that it looked like it featured her. Sincerely, Jay.
Yeah, Jay is cool. We actually connected with her online from, I think she has she's an admin of a Facebook group, and I guess some of our videos what video was it, Joe? I think it was fidget spinners and anime.
I think it was that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it got shared in there, and then she reached out to us. This is a while ago, and we kind of maintained a relationship. And then we were working on this video, and then we had an actress who couldn't do the role, so we reached out to her, and she says, "Yeah, I'm definitely down." So that's it worked out perfectly.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to get in touch with her myself and see if she wants to be a guest on the podcast. She seems really dope.
Oh yeah, and she nailed that part for our Valentine's Day video. So definitely want to work with her more in the future as well.
It looked like it's something that she does all the time, so that's why I had to ask. I saw that at the bottom of the video, blah blah blah, this cosplayer. I was like, oh snap, okay, I had no idea.
Yeah, she did a really good job. And also for the listeners, just want to clarify what Trapped Anime really is. So basically for us, we try to take regular situations, tripping, making a sandwich, a holiday. What else have we done, Joe?
So many to count. Dropping your phone.
When your phone is dying, and then we change it into an epic anime mini short film. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what the basis of what we do is regular situations turned into crazy anime scenes and short films, So I just want to, for the listeners who aren't familiar yet.
Well, I think that's what makes your videos so much fun, though, because that's a part of anime that when you've been watching anime for a long time, you become so used to it because it's anime, you don't see it. When you guys do these videos and they put so much emphasis on something so small and it's so over the top, it becomes hilarious. It's something so casual in anime, but knee slapping, can't breathe, funny, man. You guys have been executing it. The fight scenes, I'm curious. When you guys were doing the fight scenes, they look first off, a ton of fun, because you're reliving everybody's fantasy, maybe not so much when you're actually filming it, but afterwards when you come back, the special effects and just everything, it's dope. The slow motion, all of that. Was that something that was intended when you guys started doing this? With the Batman video that you did, there's a little bit of fighting, but all the new anime videos, the Valentine's Day one, for instance, and the Super Bowl one, those fight scenes were really cool. Is that something that was premeditated? You're all right, we're definitely doing a fight scene. Let's build something around that leads up to it. Or, kind of what was your angle on?
I mean, I guess I can speak on that one. I know in terms of those two videos in particular, when the script was written, we kind of planned out okay, there's going to be a bit of a fight here. Just I think in that time, in the nature of when we started filming it, there might not have been a real pre-planning in terms of exactly how the choreography went. But, we kind of get an idea down, while we're on set, take a minute to ourselves and say, okay, let's do this move and then this move. And we kind of run through it a little bit. And since the video is so short, it's not super intense. You don't have to learn a huge sequence of 30 moves, get, lock in dates for pre-recording and all this other stuff. But it's just kind of one of those things where it's we just we're able to kind of come together, work within what each actor is able to do. And then we were able to kind of work around, special effects and make it work. So,
and I mean, and that's fair. It's just one of those things that crossed my mind, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be one of my questions, was about the choreography, like, who thought of that or whatever. So it's kind of improvised on the spot, and it sounds like you guys are probably just doing like a lot of takes and seeing what works best, what could work, so to speak.
I mean, we definitely do like, especially if we do like bigger productions or things like that, or at least productions where more choreography is involved, where it is like, kind of like I said, a lot of moves that we're going through, and maybe even multiple people that we have to deal with. I've definitely had moments where I've had to like really sit down and think, okay, this move's going to happen here. We're going to have to go to this shot. This is how we're going to cut. But just in like some of the Facebook's related stuff, usually we can kind of get through it a little bit easier.
Now, with the narrating that occurs, whose idea was that? How do you guys kind of approach that? Because that's something, again, actually, me and my friends joke around all the time. We're like, we'll kind of pretend to do that. They'll be doing whatever, and like, we'll walk up and just do the whole anime narrating thing. Or sometimes Morgan Freeman if we're feeling really asshole-ish about it.
And there's actually a funny story too for me. Like back in high school, because I love Morgan Freeman's work. He's one of my favorite actors.
Right on.
And if I'm like in an English class or something, and I'm like writing a paper, there was a trick that I would have to myself where whatever it was I wrote, I read it back to myself in my head in the voice of Morgan Freeman. And if it sounded dope, then I know I've got a hit. So tip for all high school and college students out there, or future writers.
I feel like I should apply that logic to everything.
Or DC Comics executives, whatever works for you.
Oh, Jesus. We can't just keep throwing DC under the bus, man. They've taken so many L's.
I love Batman v Superman. That's just me.
Really?
Not me.
Yeah. Okay, Dave, we know about you. I mean, for me, it's like, I'll say it's not perfect, but when it comes to a lot of the DC EU stuff, there's a lot of potential that I see. Like when you look at like a Man of Steel and how Superman is kind of like inexperienced, he's still trying to kind of figure out his way. And then you see his transition in Batman v Superman, where his attitude's a lot more bitter and darker. I guess part of the joy is knowing that eventually that character will come out of that, which is also why you'd forgive Batman for doing the unthinkable in that movie, because he had a body count. Batman had his own body count in the movie.
Right.
But for me, it's like I see the potential where he can kind of come out of that. And it kind of shows a little bit for me in movies like Suicide Squad, where he actually handcuffed Deadshot instead of probably turning his own gun against him, or, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I look at it. Like, I'll forgive a character like Spawn for being an idiot if I'm like, okay, I see how he can eventually come out of him acting stupid and regressing. But, that's just me.
Well, that's different, though. The Spawn movie was actually good.
Yeah, true. And hey, there's potential for another better one coming,
Well, we'll see. Todd McFarlane, he's got the script finished, but, they're still kind of bullshitting them. They've been going back and forth. I've actually been watching that very closely, trying to wait and see, how the dust settles, because I'm very excited, because I liked the original Spawn. It's just so outdated. The corny jokes. It's kind of like, did you guys ever watch the American adaptation for like Guyver 1 and 2?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God.
Oh, no, me neither.
Well, let me take a second real quick. Between the two of you, who's like more anime?
Joe's more like, he watched a lot of like older and classic anime. I like stay in tune with like a lot of the new anime, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. So I'd probably say it kind of goes like that. But Joe's like grew up on anime, Toonami, et cetera, et cetera. That's right. That's pretty accurate, all right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well, let me direct this to both of you then. If you're used to newer anime, it's a little bit harder to get into like, the 80s, early 90s stuff. But whatever. Anime fans are anime fans, so you got to give it a chance. So I'm recommending Guyver Bio Boosted Armor. It was created in I want to say it was early 90s. The manga might have been late 80s. The style of it is kind of like the original Devilman. You guys ever seen that?
I've seen a little bit of Devilman, yeah.
Okay, yeah, not Crybaby, which was good, but the art style is completely different, back in the day. So around like, I think it was 2005 or 2008, they revamped the anime and just cleaned it up and made it a lot better. They updated it for whatever the hell the reason was. I was thankful. So it's about 25 episodes, and it's pretty dope. So if you like, gory, violent anime, and it's kind of cliche, where the main character, his name's Sho, and he starts off like being really soft-spoken. He's pretty much a coward all the way around. So we'll just call him like Zack Schneider or something for fun. But he develops and becomes like, a badass within reason. And there's so much messed up shit that happens to him along the way. Like there's no way that you guys wouldn't enjoy it. So I would say check that out and get back to me. I'd be so curious to hear your thoughts on it.
What's it called again? I'm making a note here.
Guyver.
Same here.
Guyver, bio boosted armor.
Got you. Okay.
Bio boosted armor. I mean, from what it sounds like it's right up my alley. I like that 25 episodes. That helps out a lot.
Yeah, real clean.
As long as they're not milking it.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a really good series. I love those short animes too. I think the most recent anime that came out that was like a short run that I really enjoyed was Parasite. I don't know if you guys checked that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Parasite.
No.
Oh my god, have you seen Tokyo? You've seen Tokyo Ghoul, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay, so if you fuck with Tokyo Ghoul, you'll love Parasite. Like it's the same, type of gravity to it, I guess you could say.
Okay. Cool.
But in a shorter, tight package, and the way they set it up, you're pretty much guaranteed to never get a second season. I'll leave it at that. Just know that once you get into it, you don't have to commit for the long haul. You just knock it out, and you'll be happy. I promise you. Going back, kind of into what we were talking to, just kind of understand a little bit of your guys' mindsets and where you come from. Take turns, however you want to, but I'd be curious to know, like, what are some of your guys' favorite anime, and kind of like, what are the things that you like to see in anime, I guess you could say?
Dave, would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. Some of my favorite off the top of my head, I mean, Death Note is probably number one. Kill la Kill is high up there as well. Gurren Lagann's up there. Of course, Attack on Titan. My Hero Academia is probably my favorite, like right now, as far as like active, shows that are on. But those are probably like in my top five, and I love One Punch Man as well. But those are, and as far as what I like to see in anime, of course, like I like when it comes to the story, I like something that's like relatively unique and different. But if it is going to be like a shonen anime, like I think My Hero Academia is doing it right. Like they're definitely kind of going against some of the tropes or using the tropes in a very interesting way,
Well, this is how I like to explain My Hero Academia, because I really couldn't agree with you more on that.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, that feeling you got when Dragon Ball Z would come on, like no matter like what episode it was, because when I was a kid, I was poor as hell, so we used to watch it in the Telemundo. I couldn't understand a damn thing they were saying with bunny ears, man. And when we would watch it, it was just so good. I'd get up and I'm kicking pillows and doing cartwheels and shit. And it's like, when I watch My Hero Academia, like every single episode, it's like they were like, fillers, the hell with fillers. We don't need that. It's just no matter what the situation is, I get so excited. And everybody that I've put onto that show, feels the same way. So it's got that old school Dragon Ball Z feel, but it's actually good. Not to say Dragon Ball isn't, but like, the writing is there, where Dragon Ball kind of is like, everybody get loud.
Yeah, I love that show. I mean, like the emotion in it, like how I love the intensity and emotion of the show too. You know what I'm saying? Because like, even after the first couple episodes, I was pulled in off the bat for real. Like as soon as I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, but first couple episodes, I was pulled in for sure. But that's all I like to see. For me, I like unique story, intensity and action, and then a lot of the emotion and stuff.
So if that's the case, and My Hero Academia being one of your favorites, and I feel the same way about Death Note too, because there's like no fighting. I've never been drawn into an anime that had no fighting the way I was with Death Note, but that's neither here nor there. But with My Hero Academia, I'm assuming you really like Deku, because in the video that you guys did, I think it was Tripping in Anime.
Tripping in Anime, yeah, that was inspired by that scene. I think you're probably familiar with that, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say you probably raised your hand. You're like, hey, bro, when you do the effects, I'm gonna need you to have me, look like I've got one for all, if you could. Thank you. I don't care what you do or what the concept is. I just want to look like I'm doing one for all. Because I seen it and I was like, oh shit, he's doing one for all. Oh my god, okay, all right. I had to watch like 10 times after that.
Yeah, the whole scene was like literally like I think I watched like the scene where Deku went to go save who was he trying to save? Kachan, I think, or something, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then like it was just him running toward him. It was like that kind of like that whole running toward him trying to save somebody. That whole sequence was like basically kind of what I tried to achieve the same spirit in the edit, so
yeah, you embodied it. It totally felt like a real life version of that. So maybe if they do an adaptation, they'll hit you guys up.
Hey, let's do it. Better
than Netflix. Now, what about you, Joe? What do you like?
All right, I'll say definitely my two favorites would be Yu Yu Hakusho and Trigun. I guess for different reasons. Specifically, I really love like the later seasons of Yu Yu Hakusho, everything from the Dark Tournament and forward. It seems like closer and closer you get to the end, you start to kind of see like these guys really enjoying the spirit of fighting, not, out of some kind of bloodthirsty thirst for violence or anything like that, but just because, it appeals to me on the same level as like a martial artist where you're exploring yourself and testing your limits. And it was very fun. But I really love, like, my favorite character is Shinobu Sensui. because that dude was just a savage from start to finish. And that whole saga where it's like every single episode, they start off with a really big problem and then they throw another curveball at you. And then it's like, oh, wait, that first big problem is twice as fast as we thought. So yeah, chop, chop. Oh yeah, this guy's basically got like God powers. Every single episode, things got worse and worse. It's like, good Lord, this show is amazing.
Well, for you, Hakusho, did you watch the movies back in the day? Like I think Poltergeist Report was one of them. And man, you got me thinking back now. But yeah, I mean, were you like just all over there or just mostly with the series itself?
Mostly the series itself. Ironically, I still haven't seen the movie, but now I hear they've got new Yu Yu Hakusho stuff on the way, either movies or another show or something.
That's what I heard too, but I haven't been able to confirm it yet. So if that's the case, I'm all about it because I've been meaning for the last couple of years to rewatch the series just to refresh because I always go to sections and just kind of, get my feel for what I was looking at and then, drop it. So I need to go back.
And you got to also give respect too because they nailed the team dynamic from just like those four main characters. Like it doesn't get any better than those guys. You've got the smart aleck punk Yusuke, his bubbling buffoon with the heart of gold, Kuwabara. Karama's the know-it-all that can explain everything and yet somehow isn't defeating everybody. You've got the badass, I'm not with this shit guy, Hiei, who's somehow not defeating everybody. Like, it's so perfect. Like, you just can't beat that team.
That team always reminds me of the Gundam Wing from the series where they had like Hiro Yui and Death Scythe and all that. Like that was the same kind of like vibe and energy I got, the camaraderie between them, where like they got along, but they didn't, but there's so much character development in between. And the personalities were just like night and day, but it worked.
Exactly. And it's another good one. One of my favorites was S-Cryed or Scaraido, however you choose to pronounce it.
It's S-Cryed. Anybody else is wrong.
Okay. So the guy doing the little in the middle of the commercial thing, the Scaraido. So he's wrong. Okay. But I really love that one. I think the whole concept of like the altar users and the raised ground, I've always found that really creative.
Yeah, I loved S-Cryed. But that was one series where like I feel like the main character, like, and don't get me wrong, I love series where the main character does take a good amount of L's. I hate where he's broken and he always finds a way. But I feel like they screwed over the main character quite a bit in such a short series. Like he took more L's than anybody that I can think of. Like every time he got a power up, they were like, it's not good enough.
It's so funny because I watched that clip where he first gets that like second transformation of the shell bullet because I love the music in that part.
Oh, absolutely.
But every single time I watch it, I find it hilarious how it's like, yes, I did it. Like, and he does his whole thing where he's like, more power and more. And then it's like he punches the guy. He takes another L. I've always found that funny. But hey, he got the new power, so good on him.
It's just something that they had to do, I guess,
Yeah.
Whatever. That's like one of my favorites. Like, I have to agree with you. That's, one of the all-time classics. And did you mention another one? I thought I heard you say one when you first started talking. I may have forgotten.
Oh, yeah. Trigun, I'd say, is almost tied just because, like, it's such a really great environment. I love the main character. I love like the later stuff when it gets into the gung ho guns and the fight with his brother and his backstory. And it's one of those ones that doesn't overstay its welcome too. So it's like it just gets right through its arc and everything just neatly wraps up.
Oh, yeah. I have mixed feelings about Trigun because it was like it's one of my all-time favorite animes, and I think it's slept on. Like a lot of people, like it's insane because it was only out like 10, 15 years ago, which I guess maybe is a lot at this point, but like people just don't know about it. They don't talk about it anymore. I never see anything get posted about it, which is nuts. Like, yeah. It's a weird show because like whenever I want to go back and watch it, I've found and let me know if you feel the same way. Like I do like the show. But like, there's kind of so much bullshit that happens like in the show. The best way to go back if you've watched the series already is to watch like the first like 5 episodes and then like the last 5 episodes. Like I don't need anything in between because like the whole story is like kind of convoluted. Like like it's like the episodes don't feel like they go in any type of sequential order most of the time.
I can kind of see where you're coming from on that because like. There is kind of like that point where it is almost like the Flash TV show where it is kind of like the monster of the week or the situation
of the week. I'm so mad you
just
said that as an example, but go on.
Yeah. But I guess kind of the difference between like that and like the Flash is that it's still like, I feel like the scenarios are kind of varied in that sense. Like especially when you get to like the gung ho gun stuff, even though sometimes you might be dealing with one guy at a time or 2 guys at a time or 3 or whatever, it's still kind of like I said, like monster of the week. But I love those guys, so I'll watch whatever that team was in. But I haven't tried the whole like first 5 and last 5 experiment. But I might have to try that because I've still got the DVD.
But here's the thing, though, is like I only say that to if you've already watched it because like with Trigun, I remember when I first started watching it, when we didn't have access, to the internet and series like, just as easily as we do now. I jumped in somewhere in the middle, and it feels like a Wild Wild West anime. And you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. With like some sci-fi, effects here and there. But when you watch the beginning and you find out that they were trying to colonize a fucking planet, and like what happened between, Trigun and Knives, and that they're actually like these weird sentient plant, like experimental people. And then you go to the last episode and like, the whole time, he's got these abilities, and Knives, he doesn't really have much development at all throughout the whole series until the end, that you see him do these huge plant arm mecha gun things. You're like, what the hell did I miss? So you've definitely got to, watch the beginning for sure.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from on that. I don't know. For me personally, I don't think I had too much problem following it. I know back when it was like airing on Cartoon Network and when I was a kid, I feel like I made sure that I watched like every single episode of that. And then, as time went on, I might have forgotten some stuff, but then I found the DVDs at FYE, and then I just had my days where I could just like sit at home after work or something and just kind of binge it all. So at that point, it just crept itself back up into like my top 3.
And thank you both, for sharing that. But I want to ask, like, as far as, this whole thing that you guys have created and, how it's been growing, what's kind of like the next step? Like, where are you guys trying to get to? If you could have things go exactly how you want them to go for the next year, like, what would happen? Ideally,
I would say definitely we want to continue to grow, our social media pages and everything, and get, more followers and stuff like that. But we also eventually want to, do longer and bigger, projects and stuff. I think we're at a point now where we have like, a nice base. We would definitely grow that and, potentially, do some bigger collaborations with other video creators as well. But I think the bigger goal for us is to eventually transition and pivot this to be able to make bigger productions with, without having to ask someone that we, can we do this? Basically kind of do it on our own without having to go to a studio or get funding, basically be to a point where we can all do this, full time and, basically generate enough, interest and income, whatever, to fund our own projects for our own audience is, the goal, I would say.
Yeah. From my perspective as well, too, because I'm pretty much in agreement with Dave. And I guess maybe for like somewhat different reasons, too, because it's kind of ironic because here I am like doing these series on like social media, and yet I can't stand social media myself.
I feel very differently. We argue about this. We argue about this all the time. I'm like, Joe, you have to like social media. We're on social media. We're in the social media business basically, but we argue all the time. Continue, Joe. Continue.
I can't do it, man. Yeah, but basically I'm in the same spot where it's like, I kind of want to just throw off the restrictions. You know what I mean? Where when we can get to a point where, let's say I want to make just like a short film, and I have a goal of what's in my head that I want to put on screen, and then I can kind of like maybe even start a conversation through something like that. Because even for me personally, like all 3 of us here and anybody listening or watching or not watching or listening, we all have an idea of the way we think the world should be. And, I'm no politician, I'm no lawyer, no lawmaker, anything like that. But what I am is an artist. So I think the job of an artist is to put what's in his head on paper. And then if, I've barely lived, so I don't know right from wrong any better than anybody else. But at the very least, maybe we can spark a respectful conversation and get closer to the truth. So that's kind of where I eventually want to take my art, in terms of like the movies that I make or the acting work that I do. But for the time being, I am enjoying the work that we do. It allows me to be very creative. So as I don't really care if I'm doing it big tomorrow or 3 years from now, 10 years from now, just as long as I'm doing it.
One small thing too, I think, is another goal for all of us is like, and fans have like messaged us and commented and asked for this, is like people want to see the Trapped in Anime style done for a longer project. So I do think it'd be like dope for eventually for us to like, because I definitely think like we've carved out our own little niche here to do what we've been doing, but for a longer story and a bigger project. You know what I'm saying? So same style and everything, but just basically an anime, but in live action, if that makes sense.
Which, Dave, me, I'm all down for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's something I would love, man. I would love if you guys did like, hell, I don't even know the correct term for it, but kind of like a webisode or whatever you call it, where like you kind of get more in depth with the characters, and it's something that you're tuning in like all the time for, like with like some long drawn out story. I love like whenever I find something like that online randomly and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty dope. And I just start going through and powering through all the episodes and I become addicted to it. So, I mean, just throwing ideas out there. But listening to you guys talk, why are we not best friends?
Like,
I love your guys' your views on everything. One of you guys, and I apologize, I forget who, but I recently, in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, just purchased the Crush It book.
Oh yes, that was me, David. Yeah, you mean that Crush guy, Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, dude, I've been following him for the last couple of years, and I finally caved him about the book, which is amazing. It's like I feel like we're doing really similar stuff. So when I saw somebody else, especially for the kind of media that we're doing, with anime and comics and just superheroes and junk being like the epicenter of that, seeing somebody else like looking at that material made me feel so much better. And also seeing that you guys are being very successful in what you're doing, I'm like, oh man, like, okay, like maybe I'm on the right path, So I think I commented like, great minds think alike or whatever, but I really meant that. Like I was like, dude, this is dope. It makes me so excited to see that you guys are, in the same pattern, and you're doing your thing.
Yeah, right on. No, that book is really great. And Gary Vaynerchuk, I mean, there's a couple of people who I really, really follow really close and study and stuff, and he's one of them for sure. Like, I definitely feel like I owe a lot of success to Gary Vaynerchuk. And there's a resource online called Jump Cut. Like, this is not a sponsored or anything, but like literally, like this. I wish, yeah, for real. But like, Jump Cut Academy is like this, like basically like online, like kind of class or classes you can go online and like pay for and take or whatever. And they kind of break down how to create a web series, grow a business around your show or your video project or whatever it is. And interesting story. Like that's where I got the idea about the whole Facebook thing anyway, because originally when we started all of this stuff, like we were like, before Trapped in Anime, before Drunk Night, we were like, yo, we're going to do YouTube and we're going to go hard there. And we had tried YouTube before. We had some mild success here and there, but that was the original goal. But two things happened. Like in Jump Cut, a guy talked about Facebook video and how it was growing and everything. And then me and another guy, so we have some other people on our team. Another guy named is Michael. Me and him went to a Comic-Con or some convention in Indy. And Freddie W., are you familiar with him? Freddie W.?
Yeah.
Okay, Freddie W. was there, and we asked him, hey, if you were starting over today, and this was in 2016 when we met him, if you were starting over today with a YouTube channel or everything, what would you do? And he mentioned, hey, I would, probably look into Facebook as an option as well. So I was like, all right, two people have said Facebook, and then we tried it, and it worked. So we're like, we're going to go with that. So definitely there's like a couple people, Gary Vaynerchuk, like I said, Jump Cut, and Freddie W., man, those three right there are like, keys to success for real.
You speak the truth, man. So we're getting ready to end the show because we're actually a little bit over time. Two things before we go. The first thing is, how soon can some of the members, including myself of Body Snatchers, participate in some kind of video with you guys? Because we would love to be a part of that. You guys are doing some really cool stuff. Please.
I think me and you talked earlier. You guys are based in Chicago, right?
Absolutely.
See, that's dope because I mentioned, we have two of our crew members, Rocky and Shamir. They actually go to school, Columbia there. So we actually kind of travel back and forth and stuff. So next time we are all in Chicago, we'll definitely let you know ahead of time, and we got to collab and get you in the video and make it work or something. So. Oh
yeah, and let it be known, if you guys ever do something, because you're near Indianapolis, correct?
Yeah, so we have three of us are in Indianapolis, and then the other two are in Chicago.
So if you guys, if we brainstorm and you come up with something that you feel we'd be a good fit for, something we could just totally collaborate on, I don't mind getting in my car and making that drive on a weekend. Just throwing that out there. I ain't trying to make no money.
Okay.
I'll
do not tempt us because
we'll put you to work.
We'll put you to work.
Yeah, you guys tell me what to do and I'll do it. Because it's just the positive energy that you guys have. I would just love to be a part of something like that and help any way I can. So when this is all said, everything in my power as far as sharing it and getting it out to our listeners, we're gonna do that. We're gonna back you guys up because I'm loving what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate it, man.
Oh man, I'm so happy you guys found us, man. We got to stay in connection. So, before we head out, I just wanted, coming from you guys, let the listeners know where they can, the best places, to find you on the internet so they can check you guys out.
All right. Well, since Joe hates social media, I'll take this one. You can find us on Instagram, and it's just if you type in Trapped in Anime, will pop up. The full name of Trapped in Anime TV. You can find us on Facebook, same thing. I think facebook.com/Trapped in Anime. Actually, it might be Trapped in Anime TV. Just type in Trapped in Anime there too. And then on YouTube, you can look us up where were we on YouTube? I think if you type in Endofilm, which is the name of our actual production company, is called Endofilm. So you can find us there if you type in Endofilm, INDA film, one word. But the main two places we're most active on are Instagram and Facebook. So just search Trapped in Anime on either one. Will pop up first.
I guess I'll throw it out there too, since Dave wants me to be more social, quote unquote. Facebook.com, Joe Blake Kennedy, Instagram, Joe Godhand. If you're trying to catch these hands in some Tekken 7 online, look me up, PSN, Godhand Mishima.
Whoa. You might as well direct that towards me. You trying to get folded?
Ooh, dude. I warn you once more, sir. Do not tempt me.
Okay, all right.
I need the practice.
That's fine. I'll see if we can get some bandages for them fingers. You're going to need them.
Bruh, I've been practicing wave dashes and electrics for like several years now. These fingers are iron tough.
Wow, okay. Well, I came out the womb with finger calluses playing Tekken, so don't come for me.
I like this guy already.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Again, you can find us at bodysnatcherspodcast.com. So for myself, Trapped in Anime, and the other hosts of Body Snatchers couldn't be here tonight, have a good night. Take care.